All right, let's get straight to it. Hard selling. Now, Mr. Shepherd, what is hard selling? Why do you think people talk about this phrase of hard selling? Where does it come from?
Mate, fascinating. I guess first and foremost, my experience in the fitness industry is what I find that generally speaking, and I'm generalizing here, that many fitness professionals, PTs, have just got this aversion to the word sales, got this aversion to the concept of selling, not really sure how to do it. And consequently, I think, in my opinion, that can extend into going, I'm not a fan of this whole selling thing, and therefore hard selling.
Yeah, and look, I was speaking to a few people last week, and when the topic comes up for selling, I go, well, what's your sales process? I hear a couple of things. One, we don't really have one. Look, we don't really like to hard sell people. My response to that is always, when someone says they don't like hard selling or they don't like selling in general, I say, well, what makes you say that? What does that actually mean? Because I'm more fascinated by their response. What I'm meaning by that is it the fact that they're worried about getting rejected, about asking for the sale? Have they had a bad experience with salespeople themselves and they don't want to fit into that category, going, I don't want to be known as going, oh, well, Brad, he's a pushy bastard. He just tries to guilt you or push you into the sale, forces you into it. Or is it some other factor that is just holding themselves back, so they use the word hard selling?
Yes, yeah. And look, if we delve into this concept of hard selling, and trust me, from 25 years of being in the fitness industry, 20 years running a personal training business, now 12 years of coaching and educating others, I can tell you for a fact I've seen elements of what I would refer to as hard selling. And so back to the core nature of it, I've heard stories of people that can use manipulative terminology, can use words or language, can do manipulative tricks. And when I think of that, I think of this kind of very archaic, 1980s-y sort of selling process, where it's what we'll do is we'll use any words or language that'll try and trick you or try and get you to take the next step. But when I say that, well, I hear it in this day and age, I even hear stories of people that are looking to embark on getting some help or some assistance from a coach or a mentor, and that person is just at that point and not really sure if they are ready to take action. Maybe they haven't seen value in it yet. And words to the effect of, the fact that you're not prepared to put down your credit card for X amount of dollars today shows me that you do not want this, and trying to guilt these people into it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's when I think of hard selling, that's the type of stuff that I think of, and I actually hear this stuff happening on a daily basis still at the moment.
Yeah, and so when I hear that, all those things, I don't think about selling. I think about manipulation. I think about trying to guilt people into it. I think people are being aggressive or pushy, and they don't really have a true desire to help that other person get what they need. And it's, like you said, archaic. It's very old school. And look, some of that stuff, depending on culturally where you're from, in America, maybe that's different. Like people go, I want you to have that energy and drive me and push me into this thing because I know I won't. In the UK, it may not work. In Australia, it definitely won't work as well. I mean, maybe on a certain percent of the population. So I don't think hard selling fits that. I just think you're being manipulative. You know what you're doing. And if your priority is to do that over helping somebody and taking a bit more time and patience and providing a solution, then, I guess you could be labelled as that person's a hard seller.
Yes, yeah. So if we go back to the core of it, then we go, all right, well, this concept of it, why would people, do all the work in terms of acquiring a potential lead or a prospect, or getting someone to enter your gym or your facility, or get them to come and have an introductory session with you, or whatever that might be. And then for whatever reason, get to the point of going through some sort of conversion process and start to shy away from it. Like, you want to shed some light on that?
Yeah, it's fascinating because I had my gym, and when I opened the gym with a mate of mine back in my mid-20s, you're exactly right. People would walk into the gym, which I'm assuming for a lot of people is a big deal, right?
Yep.
They're very overweight or they're out of shape.
Massive.
Yeah, big commitment for them to get the courage to do that. They walk up to my counter and they say the only thing they know what to say, and that is, well, how much do you charge?
Yep.
And back then I'd go, well, I didn't know what else to say in return to that.
Yeah,
So,
well, you'd have these beautifully, nicely printed up little A5 flyers, you know.
That's all you needed.
Yeah, the prices on there, didn't you?
That's all you
used to
needed.
hand them over. Here you go.
And then I'd go, there you go, exactly that. Here's the flyers with all the price on it, and they would look at me with a blank look, and I'd look at them with a blank look, and we'd both stand there and go, okay, well, yeah, thanks for that, and they would walk down the stairs, never to be seen again. So I was magically hoping that the flyer would do all the selling for me, or that person was committed enough and serious enough just to go, well, here's my credit card, where do I sign? And that was probably one out of 10 people that would do that. So. Yes. I didn't know what else to say. They didn't know what else to ask. That can be one part of it.
And not that I want to drag you through this pain, but again, I'm, I've heard this story before, and as you say very eloquently, is that people had to walk up the stairs to get to your gym, right? And that was, like we said, it's a massive deal. How many times has somebody thought about this? You know, how many times have they explored the idea of joining a gym, getting a trainer, getting some help to get the courage to walk up those stairs? How intimidating is that to walk into this big area with mirrors and scantily clad individuals.
That was just me.
To meet this person who hands in the flyer, and then for you to, you know, like you said, to wave them back down the stairs. And I guess you can now, you know, add up, you know, very roughly how many dollars you wave down those stairs.
Crazy. And I remember for some reason when you were talking, when you were saying that, the courage, I remember one particular guy said that he'd been driving past our facility for about a month before he actually got the courage to come on in.
Yes.
And that was an example of him not signing up for this particular reason. So it was a lot. The other part was that I was severely letting these people down because of not really knowing how to take the conversation where it needed to be, avoiding it, feeling uncomfortable about it. And so there's a part of technical training, so technically knowing how to deal with a prospect and an inquiry and that technical part, which is definitely important.
Yep.
And you need to know what to say, how to say it, what questions to ask. You need to have that technical ability. However, all that will get washed away because you can have the best sales trainer in the world come in and train you what to say. Here's the process, here's the scripting, but that'll all go out the window if, deep down you have some limiting beliefs around money, for one.
Absolutely.
If asking for what you want wasn't a great experience as a kid, so we're getting a bit into the psychology now, which is heavily my background for a lot of years, and it was when I started to learn some of these things about myself that turned this whole situation around. Because if it was just about the knowledge and it was just about the technical part of how to do anything, we'd all be sweet. You go, here's the book, read it. And unfortunately, there's a very small percentage of people that can grab that information and have that ability to implement it. There's a big percentage of the population, people who are more introverted, people that don't fit in that category, they just won't do it. So we've got to start to understand that what's our beliefs around asking for what we want.
Yes.
The fear of potentially getting rejected when you do ask that question. And then also if we've got shame and guilt around money, which, mostly when I ask this question at seminars, stick your hand up. If you've ever heard this growing up as a kid, money doesn't grow on trees.
Yep.
There's about 99.9% of the room's hands go up. So is it no wonder then if you're in business and we link it back to sales, that number one, people don't even do sales training to start with. They avoid it because they're running this story. I don't like selling. I don't want to hard sell. I'm not in it for the money. All these limiting beliefs that are going to stop you anyway making better decisions, better actions. So unless we get that part sorted.
Yeah, 100%. And such, like you indicated, such a taboo topic to speak of money because for the majority of people, they're more comfortable talking about their sex life than they are talking about money, finances.
Especially in this country.
Having that sort of discussion. And so that part we find fascinating. And we're here to tell you that if you do classify yourself as an introvert, or if you classify yourself as somebody who doesn't feel like they've got quote unquote the gift of the gab, or you don't feel like you're that type of person who is great in this area, we're here to tell you that there are solutions available to you, because again, what it does come back to is first of all addressing what was just spoken of, addressing and understanding the part which might trap you or block you from having some success or getting some good results in this area. And then, of course, learning some strategies on what to implement or how to do it effectively.
Because if you are walking around saying what we would call a belief or a mantra, so when people speak, they're actually telling you their internal beliefs, right?
Yes, yes.
So they're expressing to you their deep down beliefs. So they walk around saying, "I don't like to hard sell people." You and I might go, "Well, yeah, don't do that."
Yes.
Because we don't subscribe to it either.
Yeah.
But provide a solution, and if you take pride in what you do and you want to help people,
Yeah.
well, there's going to need to be that conversation. If you don't, well, you're just hoping this person says, "You're amazing, Jason. Can I just give you my details and sign up?" Even though you haven't told me anything about how you're going to help me and what you can do for me and what your service actually is and where do I take some form of action to get started.
Absolutely.
Let me just give you all my details and I'll sign myself up.
Yeah, and let's get sorted. And
it's not going to happen.
And I believe that there's a certain percentage of people who they actually want people to want them. It's almost like I'm running my business, and this does not extend to the fitness industry. Every type of business owner can learn from this. It's like going, many people that we speak to, it's almost like you want people to be knocking on your door, and it's almost like this aversion to have to try and speak to somebody about it, because in a way I feel like I've got to try and convince them. I want people rocking up to my doorstep going, please sign me up. Now that's a great thing, and obviously we're delving into how good your messaging and your marketing is, but at the end of the day, there's no doubt about it. There are going to be people out there who do need to understand more about what you do. You're going to need to educate them better on how you can provide an effective solution for them moving forward.
So if we hit the pause button now and just look at what we've discussed so far, number one is that, as we said, it for most businesses, the hardest part is to actually get someone to make an inquiry.
Yes.
To reach out, walk into your facility, send you an SMS, send you a form via your website, all that stuff. So that's one of the hardest parts. And there's all this stuff about how to get leads and how to use Facebook. But if you don't have this back end part sorted, you're just making life harder for yourself, right? And so when we've worked with numerous people over the years, since 2008, and one just recently over in Perth in Australia here, 21-day trials, but he deals in a beginners only fitness, and it's he's been an outstanding representation of client of when you put this stuff in place, what happens. 21-day trials, and I go, why are you doing 21-day trials? Is that what you want to be known for? And he said, no. And I said, but don't you help people that are new to fitness, they're having a long layoff in fitness, or they've got a lot of weight to lose? Yeah. He goes, yeah. And as you said, firstly, messaging was all incorrect, but then we fixed that up. Now he stops the 21-day trials because he said to me, I've got someone who come in the day, they're 160 kilos. They don't need to wait 21 days to make a decision if we can help them. That decision gets done now. And so since he's got rid of that, the same thing. He goes, I was letting them decide after 21 days if they were going to continue or not.
Yeah, if it was the right fit, and life gets in the way of them. They're having fears, doubts, concerns. And, for any of you who are running this, you probably know for many clients that first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month could be just sorting themselves out, teething issues, getting spatially aware with exercise, all that sort of stuff. So really we've got to think above and beyond that.
Yeah, and if you think about it, if you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you, this is what's wrong, the doctor's going to prescribe you a solution to get better, right?
Yes, yeah.
He's not going to go, well, there you go. What would you like to do? I think I'll give it another 6 months before I get the treatment. He's going to go, look, this is the solution. So the reality is, if you know who you want to help, you know that you take great pride in what you do. Firstly, it's about changing your thinking about what selling is and what you actually do. If you just think hard sell, in my opinion, you're running a story that is blocking you from helping people and having the success you want. Doesn't mean you won't get there, but it'll be way more challenging than what it could be. And that was my personal experience. Still had people signing up, but man, did I make it tough. The other part, as we talked about earlier, is that you're not really indoctrinating people into your service that well. If you're not doing a good job of selling up front and selling what you do and the solutions and why you're so unique and special, then I'm not really that surprised when I hear people say they don't have a good retention rate, because you've just kind of made the decision on your own to sign up.
Yes,
There's been no real buy-in to what we do or what we're doing, trying to achieve here.
Yeah. So let's have a look at a couple of practical examples. So first of all, now at Trainer HQ, every year we have 150 plus clients come through our higher level coaching programs and so forth. And of those, a good 50% of them are personal trainers who conduct their business underneath the roof of a a commercial gym, a big box gym, some sort of place where they pay a weekly gym rent and they build their business underneath the roof of that facility. Now, inside many of those facilities, they have some sort of introductory trial. It might be one session, it might be 2 sessions, it might be 3. Typically, that might be free, many versions of it. But commonly what we hear before we start working with people is that somebody comes through and let's say they've got 2 sessions together. Explain to us what happens would be the common question we might ask them, and they'll say, I'll bring them in, and day 1 I give them a body assessment, I take them around the gym and I do some exercises, come back on day 2 and I might write them a little program to follow, and then we might say, okay, what happens when it comes time to explaining about your service? Oh, well, I get to the end of it and, I just leave a couple of minutes and I'll just sort of let them know that, if they're interested, I want to take it up. And I go, okay, cool. So can you explain to me a bit about how it plays out? Do you present them with some sort of documentation? Do you run some sort of PowerPoint slide or whatever? Oh, not really. I just kind of tell them. And I go, okay, cool. That's, I feel in many ways what happens is a strategy like that, we're just letting people down because if we go back to the process behind it, these people have voted with their feet. They've, number 1, taken up the gym membership because they want some help. Number 2, assuming that the MC, salesperson, or whatever, has done the right job to put that person and put them with the PT for the right reason, explain to them that working out with a PT is going to be of benefit to them to help them accelerate their results and get the goals that they're after, come and experience it. And at the end of it, there's an opportunity for you to continue with that personal trainer. If I was to flip that model on its head, then what we'd say is immediately what you need to do is let that person know that you, number 1, run your business underneath the roof of that facility, because many clients come through and just think that you're part of the furniture or you're just paid by the gym, and that's not the case. Number 2, that may even happen in the initial phone call when you reach out, so it's letting them know, hi, I'm Brad and I'm a resident personal trainer. Just to let you know, I run my business from the roof of XYZ gym. My clients come and see me directly. They pay me personally to help accelerate the results that they're after. Is getting personal training something you've explored? We can start that pre-qualification process. And of course, if the conversation's going right, you can let them know that on session 1, what you're going to do is you're going to sit them down and run them through the different options. Because we're not leaving it to chance. It's called the hope plan. It's fingers crossed and wait to the very end, kind of hoping that I'm going to do a good job and they're going to miraculously just say, please, can I continue with you? No, let's show them the reasons why they need to do this.
Yeah, totally agree. I guess where we're going to move to with this now, Brad, is some solutions to ways to think differently about selling. So if you've been watching this and hearing it, our hope and intention is that you started to think differently about it, because that's where it all starts. Starting to think differently about the word selling. Remove hard selling altogether. We don't subscribe to that. Provide solutions.
Yes.
Provide opportunities for people. Make that very clear and abundantly clear. That you have a way that you can help people with a problem, frustration, or desire they have. Now, if you're not clear on that part, well, then that's the next step. You definitely need to be clear on, well, how do you help someone get the results they're looking for and be able to articulate that? Because again, if you don't, you're just running the hope plan. I want to know from point A to point B to point C that I have that all connected. So from someone responding to a bit of marketing, from walking into a facility to the initial conversation, to finding out everything about them. Because my job and our job is to assess, can I actually help this person? Remove the whole thing of even selling at this point. It's like when we sit down with someone and they go, hey, we just want to get on your coach and we want to start on one of your programs. We see all the success stories we get started. Go, whoa, hey, hang on.
We're not there yet.
We don't even know anything about you, or what your problems, challenge, and what you want to do desire-wise. So I don't know if what we do can even help you at this stage. So remove that part from your mind and just find out what's their problem, what's their challenges. Once I hear all the information, I can start to make a decision. You can start to make a decision. Can we help this person?
Yes, yeah.
Are they in pain? Can you move them out of pain because you've got the knowledge, the education, track record to do that? Do they want to run a marathon? Well, do you have expertise in that? We're trying to figure out, can we help them? Then, and only then, let them know.
Yeah.
Based on what you've told me.
And I would view it, my opinion is I'd view it as virtually unethical that someone wouldn't go through that process anyway, So take the time to really understand somebody first. And the Covey Principle, which says seek first to understand, then to be understood, is paramount in this situation, because you need to really find out what's going on for somebody. Personally, you want to find out what's going on for them physically. You want to see, am I the best choice for this person? Do I have a solution for them before I start unpacking any of that? once I get to that point and it is time to unpack it, that can be the part where some stumbling blocks can come in place, because it's almost like, okay, well, is this the point where I'm now coming across as a little bit pushy if I say X, Y, or Z? And so the language I would put to it and the word I would use would be assertive. And it's important for you in this situation to be assertive. It's not about being pushy. It's not about me trying to shove something on somebody else. Instead, I become a solution provider and I can understand what's going on for somebody. And then I can make an educated decision as to whether I really think I can help that person. And that may need some level of assertiveness, because some of these people may need to just be assisted in this process or in this journey.
Yeah, because if they had that part sorted, they wouldn't be sitting in front of you.
Yes.
They would be getting on with it and doing it. So I would agree with Brad 100%. And then that's where the some skill training comes involved, like knowing how to deal with objections and understanding that objections are buying signs.
Yes.
Understanding that it's someone's way, and sometimes fun and in a funny way, asking for help without asking for help because they're not sure how to do it. But if you don't have that ability, you don't do that part, then you're also letting yourself down and them down. So we all admire people who have the ability to give us a gentle push, because they know that they got our best interest at heart.
Yes.
So if Brad is stumbling on some things, that's when I will ask those questions. What would be life like if you walk here without doing something? But I'm going to set it up by saying, Brad, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I want you to know that I've got your best intentions in mind.
Yes.
And that we're here. I'm assuming you've taken the time to be here. I've been here to explore all avenues, and you want a solution. Is that correct? Yes. All right. Well, then I might ask some questions that sting a little bit. But I can tell you, it's done with compassion. It's done because I care. And if I don't do it, I'm no good to you.
Yes.
So there's ways that you can articulate that. And what I find, introverted or not, introverted plays one part of it. If all the people that I have worked with that aren't what you'd say extroverted, or they have that ability to beat the chest and just do this process works exceptionally well for everybody. Because of the way it's done with Brad, as Brad said, it's done with being authentic.
Yes.
It's done ethically, and it's done with compassion, and because you are trying to help people, and that's why it works really well.
And if we go back to personality types again, if we think of the person who's gone through this process via bravado or via ego or whatever, and you are potentially promoting or selling to somebody who is a little bit introverted, once again, it may not go that great for you. So I can tell you from firsthand experience that the ability to really connect, to understand, and put yourself in a situation where you can also be vulnerable in terms of, not trying to act like you're the one who's going to control this conversation. You're the one who's going to steer it in the direction. You're the one who's going to obviously, have the right set of questions to be able to guide the conversation in the right direction. But at the same time, just showing that your level of humanity as well, and that you are genuinely there to want to help people. And when we surveyed, for the last 12 years, when we asked PTs and trainers and fitness professionals, tell us some of your highest values in terms of why you're doing this. And for many of them, one of the highest values comes at the fact that I do want to help people. I'm here for a purpose. My mission is to serve. I've got a love affair with doing this. I love seeing people get results. And so we want to make sure that passion, that enthusiasm also marries up to the amount of revenue, income, and more importantly, profit that you're able to generate in your fitness business.
And having a real strong internal why you're doing this will help get over some of these other things, the fear of rejection and fear of maybe upsetting somebody. And again, if you know that you're doing it for the right reasons, and again, we started this convo with hard selling and what is it? If we just remove that altogether, because if you identify with that, it's going to be downhill for you. But if you identify with, I'm a solution provider, I've got this burning desire to help people. Yes. I know it's going to require sometimes difficult conversations, uncomfortable conversations. However, my intention's always pure and I want to help, and I'm going to do everything I can. The particular client, Steve, over in Perth, who I was talking about, who had the Beginners Only Fitness, his motto now, he goes, I'm not letting anyone walk out the door until I'm absolutely convinced that this is not the right place for them, that I cannot help them. I'm gonna, and he understands. He goes, I am dealing with people who have probably quit on themselves 1,000 times.
So many times, yeah.
And he goes, so I'm not joining in on that with them. And the language he uses is beautiful. He goes, I'm going to sit there with them and I'm going to ask them every question. I'm going to hold them there. He goes, I tell them, you're not walking out of here unless we're both, convinced this is not the right place for you. But I'm going to be going for you. I'm going to be making sure that we're the place for you.
Yes.
And he does that with compassion because he cares, and his track record's amazing because of it.
Yeah, and the beauty of this is you're the trainer, you're the fitness professional. You know that people are coming to you and seeing you as a sign of, let's call it authority, or someone that they can look up to, or the expert. So therefore, let's also be able to embrace that from the perspective of guiding them in the right direction and showing them exactly what they need and how you can help them.
Yeah, and look, there's another scenario. Not, this is me relating, to everybody who's ever done any sales and gone and had a feeling of, oh God. And we've been doing fitness expos for I don't know how many years, and
Yes.
I'd say I'm definitely more, when you talk about introverted, extroverted. I can definitely be both. I can definitely extroverted to some degree, but then there's a situation where we go to an expo. You want to know what expo is? You get a stand. You're there for a few days, and your job is to promote your service. And what normally happens with those stands, unless you've got a well-known brand, which people are just going to come in and buy your equipment or sneakers or supplements.
Yes. Or you take your clothes off.
Or I do that. That normally gets rid of the crowd. But then for most stands that are trying to get their brand known or get business, their really objective is to draw people in.
Yes.
But what we used to see is that people would just stay in and they wouldn't move out, where we were the opposite. We'd be out, basically in people, getting in people, front of people, going, hey, you're a trainer, you're in the fitness business.
Yeah.
And we'd be doing that. And brutally honest with you, like every year before I'd go, I go, oh God, I've got to do this again. But the thing that always got me over the line, and I know that was different for you, because if you see this guy in action, he just loves it because of that big why. I would need to remind myself, all right, Jason, are you serious about your branding, your company, and helping people? And be like, yes, I am. And that's what would get me to do the things that necessarily, like if you said, do you want to go and spend 3 days in Expo speaking to 1,000 people, see if you can help them, convince them of that my initial emotional response would be like, no, I would probably rather do anything else.
Yes.
However, I also knew that it was a really good thing for us to do. And so I could always get myself to do it, and not only that, enjoy it. And that's back to that personality profiling. If we only do the things we enjoy because they come easy to us, then we're not going to be as successful as we desire to be. So the ability to get yourself to do an area of your business that you go, habitually it doesn't feel like it's something that I really enjoy or comfortable with. Over time, you'll get to love it and like it as you change. So we're not saying, hey, watch this particular podcast and boom, everything's going to change for you, but it will change once you change your thinking around it. So I wanted to share that because then, I really grew to love all the expos and do it, go and meet people, stop people in their tracks.
Yeah.
And embrace it, because I go, why I'm doing this is because I want to help people. And the amount of people that we have helped and changed their life from being at those events.
Yeah.
Like when we look back and go, we met that person who's with us 4, 5, 6 years later, done everything that we ever do in terms of events and coaching. I go, am I sure glad that I was able to stop and get in front of that person and get over my own shit.
Yes, yeah.
That was holding me back, so I could actually help these people. That is what's on the other side of getting out of your own way, and having a different experience in your business and life. It's way bigger than just this whole thing of selling. It's way bigger. It's who you become in the process of transforming out of that current limiting state that's going to be with you forever.
And further to that story, at the Perth Expo is actually where we met Steve Thompson, who's Feel Good Fitness, and you just be making mention of him. He was there with his beautiful wife, Hayley, 3 kids, I believe, pushing the pram. It would have been easy to look, these people look busy. They're trying to pull back kids and all the rest of it. Would have been potentially easy to sort of let them go. But instead, you took that initiative to have that convo, and 3-4 years later, this guy's still working with us, still kicking goals on this program, and still changing people's lives in a massive way. So it's a great example. Plus, for anybody in any type of business, there's going to be things that pop up that you may find challenging, and really it comes back to the idea of going, okay, am I prepared to just be able to follow this thing through, follow a methodology or a system, a process that enables me to get X, Y, or Z result on the back end.
And you got to be prepared to invest. Like the reality is that what's natural for us now took a lot of years getting coaching, mentoring, studying.
Correct.
Investing in these things, because if there's an area of your business that is not going as good as you could, well, first thing, let's stop running the stories, the limiting beliefs, the bullshit stories that just stop us from even going down that path. Let's get honest with it. maybe just the honesty is just going, oh, I just don't enjoy selling. That'll set you free, because then you can go, well, what do I want to do with that? Do I want to just keep saying that, running with that? Or would I rather go, right, well, I want to get very comfortable with it. I want to enjoy it because I know that it's going to help people. It's going to help the business. It's going to do all the things that I imagine will happen if I get a result in that area. And then set to work about it. You know, no good doing all of our education to help people and technically getting them in shape if you're unable then to attract these people in and then also provide them a solution and get them on board. There's no point. You'll be the best kept secret. And I'm sure that's, you know, why we didn't set out the business to be the best kept secret.
That's right. Yeah.
We set out because we love what we do and we want to do it well and we want to help a lot of people without the stress of going, oh, I hope the business survives this year.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
So over to you, gang. As we wrap up, we hope that you were able to pull something from this episode today, and we entrust that from your perspective, you can take some of these insights and start to put some of this stuff into practice in your business. Yeah. And please always know that our door's wide open. If you do need some assistance in this area, we're here for you. So thanks for joining us. We're signing off.
That's it for me.
Yay. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.